On behalf of KM Video Productions, good afternoon and welcome to sunny Smallmead Stadium for this year's UK qualifying round of the World Team Championship. Nations featured in this afternoon's event are Australia, United States, New Zealand and England. And there we have the 4 teams coming around on RAC recovery vehicle trailer, ready for the parade of the meeting. Well, this UK qualifying round traditionally produces winners in the shape of England and America. Australia and New Zealand usually get shaded out by the 2 superpowers of World Speedway, although shocks have happened in the past, and in fact Australia won the title in 1976. New Zealand went through to win the title at White City also in 1979, England being eliminated at this stage on both occasions. So the English know that upsets have happened in this tournament before. They go into it with a 3-2 advantage over Americans in the England-America Test Series, and no doubt will be brimful of confidence, but this circuit is pretty well regarded as an special circuit. So an interesting battle in practice this afternoon. As usual, a large crowd here at Smallmead for this event, basking in the sunshine which we hope will stay for the whole of the afternoon. Heavy rain around the country at Smallmead seems to escape the worst of the weather, and the crowd looking forward to what should be a very exciting 16 heats of action. So let's take a look at the 4 teams. Let's start with the team who will be racing in red helmets throughout the meeting. Australia. They're managed by the former Halifax and Hull rider Dennis Gavros, and their lineup is as follows. At number 1, Billy Sanders. Next to him, number 2, Phil Crump. Number 3 is John Titman. And at number 4, Gary Guglielmi. The Australian reserve is Steve Regeling. The team appearing in blue helmets throughout the afternoon is the United States, and their lineup is as follows. At number 5, now showing their backs to us for a group photograph, the number 5 man is Bobby Schwartz, the local hero, who will be expected to pile up the points for America this afternoon. Number 6 next to him is the man strongly tipped to follow in Bruce Pennell's footsteps into the World Championship status. And Dennis Segalis is that man. He rides for the Ipswich Witches and is a major thorn in the side of England whenever they meet. At number 7 for the Americans, another man who was very, very strongly tipped this year in the World Championship. The American round yet to come, but Sean Moran will be up there with the best of them, so many expect. He rides for the Sheffield Tigers and was top scorer in last year's England-America Test Series. Next to him at number 8, a man missing from the British League scene this year, is Sean's brother Kelly. Kelly Moran, a former Eastbourne rider, has decided to stay in America this year, just coming back for World Championship events. Kelly rides at number 8. The American reserve is the promising man who signed for Craig Heath last year, gradually making his way through the ranks, now the sole American at Craig Heath with the departure of Bruce Pennell. Number 18 man, Lance King. And so moving on to the Kiwis. They race in white throughout the afternoon, and their team lines up as follows, managed by Trevor Redmond, the former Wembley, St Austell and many other track promoter. They line up as follows. At number 9, Larry Ross. Number 10 is Mitch Shearer. Number 11, David Barge. And number 12, the legendary Ivan Major. And the New Zealand reserve, number 19, a man making his first season in the British League this year after a season with Glasgow Tigers in National League last year, Alan Mason. And in the yellow and black helmet colour throughout the afternoon, the home side England, they are led by Peter Collins at number 13. Peter, the Bellevue ace, won this round last year for England in a run-off at the end of a 39-all draw between England and America at Kings Lynn. Peter Collins rides at 13. Next to him, the acknowledged England number 1, Kenny Carter. Kenny, a Halifax Duke, and a man who certainly does not relax when the Americans are around. Number 15 for England, another Bellevue ace. He really did turn in some sparkling displays in the England-America series, Chris Morton. Number 16 for England, a debutant in the British League this year and straight into the England side. A man tipped by many to go all the way in the sport. The very exciting Weymouth Wildcat product, now riding for Cradley Heath, Simon Wigg. And the England reserve, this shows the strength and depth of England and also the boldness of the selection of Simon Wigg, because down at number 20, the England reserve is the vastly experienced Dave Jessup. So, carrying England's hopes in the first heat, in yellow and black, Kenny Carter. Well, Kenny's out in this one against Bobby Schwartz, and certainly no love lost between Kenny and the Americans, Bobby Schwartz in particular. Kenny, a very gritty Yorkshireman, always down to earth and bluff, does not quite go along with the more laid-back approach of the Americans, and there's usually sparks flying, and here comes his American opponent alongside, in blue, Bobby Schwartz. Bobby, the local favourite, and I'm sure many Reading fans will be backing the Americans this afternoon. Well, those of you a little more sharp-eyed than myself during the parade will have noticed that Gary Guglielmi did not take his place on the parade. I believe he is injured. His place in the team taken by Steve Redgeling, and there you see Steve, the Leicester Lion, at number 4 for Australia. His place at reserve is taken by Rod Hunter. And now a sight that is all too rare on British speedways these days. Since the closure of Hull, Ivan Mauger has traded his business purely in the international sphere. No more British League racing for Ivan. Ivan well past 40 now, but still very much a force to be contended with in World Speedway. So those 4 riders now to the tapes. The lineup across the grid. Gate 1, Ivan Mauger in white. Gate 2 in blue, Bobby Schwartz. Gate 3 in red, Steve Redgeling. And Gate 4 in yellow and black, Kenny Carter. So it's master versus pupil here with Mauger on the inside and Carter on the outside. Ivan Mauger, Kenny Carter's business manager. And it's Mauger who makes the gate for New Zealand, followed by the American Bobby Schwartz. Carter cuts deep underneath, Redgeling in trouble at the back. Australia not rated too highly rather in this opening heat. Redgeling a good try, but not really up to the standard of the rest of the competitors. Mauger belying his years in front, showing that British League experience is not necessary at this level to compete. Mauger leads the way. Would give him no finer pleasure, Ivan Mauger, than to get New Zealand through this round. Not many seasons of riding left in Ivan. Out of the individual World Championship, and really the World Team Cup, his last chance of international glory. Mauger leads from Schwartz. Carter now back in third. Schwartz has a little trouble on that turn. Mauger holding a very tight inside line. The classical style of Ivan Mauger in those classical black and white check leathers, holding up Bobby Schwartz. Now Carter dives to the inside, gets second place. So Kenny Carter now attacks Ivan Mauger. Final turn, Mauger goes wide as Carter got the room, and as they race to the line, Ivan Mauger just holds on for first. Second in yellow and black, a fine effort from Kenny Carter. Third in blue, Bobby Schwartz, and tailing off last, Australia with Steve Redgeling. So 3 points to New Zealand, 2 points to England, 1 point to America, and no points to Australia. Well, Ivan Mauger going well for New Zealand there, and with another home man in their lineup, maybe this could be the start of a turn-up for New Zealand. Well, Australia are a 0 in the first heat, but they'll be looking for more points now, well, for some points now, through John Titman in the red helmet colour. John's a 6.5 point man with the Hackney Hawks. He's from Brisbane and is a former Australian championship winner, and always a mainstay of Australian speedway activity on the international scene. Just coming in off the turn in white, it's David Barge. David, until a couple of seasons ago, a Newcastle Diamond, now plying his trade with the Sheffield Tigers, no doubt influenced by Ivan Mauger's coaching role at Sheffield. And Dave, a lot expected of him in the future as the man to back up Ross and Shearer at the top end of the New Zealand international strength. So the full lineup for heat number 2. Off gate 1 in blue, Dennis Sigalos. Gate 2 in red, John Titman. Gate 3 yellow and black, Peter Collins. And gate 4 in white, David Barge. With a movement there from Dave Barge. And again, referee Mel Price waiting for Barge to sit still and away from the start. Showing first is Sigalos. Collins at the back looking for the inside line, straining through into second, just beating Titman out of the turn. It's the Anzacs at the back. America lead, England second, Australia third, and New Zealand fourth. And Collins already has a long way to make up on Dennis Sigalos. Collins 16-point haul in the final test match at Sheffield, beaten on that occasion only by Dennis Sigalos. So the form book staying the same in heat 2 of the over the United Kingdom round of the World Team Cup, with Collins being beaten by Sigalos. Siggy revelling in this tight small meet circuit, commanding lead. England, though, holding on to second through Collins. That will be enough to mean a tie between England and America for first position. Australia set to pick up 1 point. The race getting a little strung out now as we around the final turn. Dennis Sigalos comes in for a win for America. That puts them on 4. Second place to Peter Collins. That puts England on 4. 1 point to Australia, and John Titman brings them up to 1. And New Zealand last through David Barge. They are on 3 points. Well, England 2 second places so far. They share the lead with America. Coming out for them in this heat, the number 15 man, Chris Morton. Well, Chris, such a spectacular rider, might be a little confined by the bends of Smallmead. Of course, Reading has happy memories for Chris and for Peter Collins, for it was on this track last year that Bellevue clinched the British League Championship. So the lineup for heat number 3. Off gate 1 in red, Phil Crump. Next to him in white, another man with fond memories of Reading, another Bellevue ace, Larry Ross, riding for New Zealand. Gate 3 in blue, just holding back from the line, Kelly Moran. And gate 4 in yellow and black, Chris Morton. And showing first from the start is the rider in white, Larry Ross. Ross just holds off the attentions of Australia and America. Kelly Moran now second. Chris Morton at the back for England, not very good for the home side. So Larry Ross leads. Kelly Moran looking for a way through on the inside. All 4 riders hugging that white line. Ross now moves wide. Kelly Moran second. Morton still at the back. His position being denied by Phil Crump. Crump renowned as a Smallmead specialist. Rides for the race's local rivals, the Swindon Robins, and things not looking too good for England and Chris Morton, but now driving for the inside line as the dust begins to rise at Smallmead. Morton in all kinds of trouble at the back. England look like they're going to be scoreless in this one. 1 lap to go. America 2 places ahead of England, so a 2-point lead for the Yanks, and that lead will be shared with New Zealand. If Ross can hang on to first, this will give them 6 points. And Ross locks up slightly coming out of the turn and just hangs on to first place. 3 points to New Zealand. That gives them joint lead with 6. Second, America. That was Larry Ross first. Second, America, Kelly Moran. 2 points gives them 6. They share the lead with New Zealand. Third, in red, Phil Crump. That gives Australia 2 points. And England scoreless in heat 3 through Chris Morton. That leaves them on 4 points in third place. Well, showing the Americans' eagerness is Sean Moran coming out to the line well ahead of the other riders. No danger of any 2-minute warning, which is now sounded for the others. No danger for Sean, though, digging his exit from the starting gate. Sean Moran, such a live wire performer, would no doubt be very disappointed over the American defeat on his home track at Sheffield last week. And making his debut at this level of World Championship activity is Simon Wigg. He's ridden for England already this year in the Test Series, has acquitted himself very well, and is already heading for number 1 spot in the Cradley Heath lineup in his first full season in the British League. Simon Wigg comes in now at number 16 in the yellow and black helmet colour for England. England 2 points behind America and New Zealand, can't afford to let the points start slipping away. They have been knocked out in controversial circumstances at this stage before, and they really can't afford to let it happen again. So the lineup for heat 4. Across the grid, gate 1 in blue, Sean Moran. Next to him in red, Billy Sanders. Gate 3 in yellow and black, Simon Wigg. And gate 4 in white, another local favourite, Mitch Shearer. And bursting from the tapes first is Billy Sanders. Sean Moran really throwing the bike around that turn, looking for the gap on the inside. Simon Wigg now back in third, being eclipsed by Mitch Shearer. Wigg fighting back on the outside, 2 races in 1. Sanders still leads, Sean Moran second. Wigg now forced back into 4th place by the rider in white, Mitch Shearer. Things look rather rough for England. Billy Sanders now hauling Australia back into contention if he can hold out. Sean Moran. Billy Sanders back with the Ipswich Witches this year after a few years away on Humberside with the Hull Vikings, now defunct, and the Kingston Stars last year. Billy back in his old stamping ground that he first visited back in 1972 as a 16-year-old raw youngster. So Billy Sanders leads. Sean Moran looking for the inside line. Sean, another former Hull Viking. And the American lineup peppered with former Vikings. But the first man home in red, Billy Sanders. Second in blue, Sean Moran. Third in white, Mitch Shearer. And fourth, rather disappointingly for England, was Simon Wigg. So that's 3 points to Australia, brings them up to 5. England now in fourth place. Second man home, Sean Moran got 2 points for America. That gives them 8. Mitch Shearer took 1 point. That gives New Zealand 7. And England now last with 4 points. So America lead from New Zealand, Australia third, and England fourth. Well, England's in trouble now. They're a point behind Australia, and they are in turn 3 and 4 behind New Zealand and America. So England really need to start pulling in the points. And to that end, out goes Simon Wigg, and Wally Maudsley replaces Simon Wigg with the England reserve, Dave Jessup. Dave, of course, a mainstay, a stalwart here at Smallmead in its early days. Then signed for Kings Lynn, is now with the Wimbledon Dons. Dave, known as DJ, in the days when John Davis here was known as JD. Jessup comes to the rescue for England, possibly here in heat number 5. That, I'm sure, is what the England management are hoping. The full lineup 4-5. Off gate 1 in white, an impressive winner first time out, Larry Ross. Next to him, Dave Jessup. Gate 3 in blue, Dennis Sigalis, another winner first time out. And gate 4 in red, Steve Redgeling. So 8 to America, 7 to New Zealand, 5 to Australia, and 4 to England is the position as we enter heat number 5. Well, there seems to be some delay before the start of heat 5. Only Jessup has gone up to the starting gate. The other 3 all holding back. Starting marshal now instructing the riders to move forward. So a vital heat for England, number 5. And Jessup gates well, but is in second. Looks for a gap on the inside of Larry Ross. But in fact finds Dennis Sigalis going around the outside. England only have third in front of Steve Redgeling. Dave Jessup needs more than that. And New Zealand looking at power in this contest. And Jessup really must get past Larry Ross. America seeking to extend their lead through Dennis Sigalis, and it looks like they'll be successful. One wonders whether anyone can stop Dennis Sigalis this afternoon, already with a good 20-yard lead. And Jessup crashes out into fourth place now for England. Overtaken by Steve Redgeling, and a real disaster for England. Could this be a black day for English Speedway? Dennis Sigalis leads for America. Dave Jessup is now out. The mechanical gremlins have struck the England man once more. The final turn, Dennis Sigalis home first with a wheelie. Second in white, Larry Ross. Third in red, Steve Redgeling. England non-finishers through Dave Jessup. A real disaster for England. In real trouble now. America now extend their lead to 11 points. New Zealand now have 9. Australia have 6. And England beginning to lose touch now with 4 points. And there, an all too familiar sight as the man with the number 20 race jacket walks back to the pits, explaining to Peter Collins and Kenny Carter what went wrong in heat number 5. Well, Chris Morton will be a troubled man as he goes to the start line for heat 6. There's 5 points now between England and New Zealand. America a further 2 points ahead. England really do need a heat win from Chris here. They've only had 2 seconds in the first 2 heats from Peter Collins and Kenny Carter. 3 consecutive ducks have really put England in a very difficult situation. And the man out to deepen the English depression is the man in white, Mitch Shearer. Mitch a point in his first ride. Mitch now a Reading racer after a few years with the Coventry Bees. A very unsettled rider there, and seems to have come on in leaps and bounds since his transfer down here to Berkshire. But it looks like this could be a very costly day for England unless something can happen in the next couple of heats. The full lineup for heat number 6. Gate 1 in red, John Titman. Next to him in white, Mitch Shearer. Gate 3 in yellow and black, Chris Morton. And the outside man in blue, Bobby Schwartz. When you get the feeling at this stage of the meeting that America will just start drawing ahead from here, And the battle now surely between New Zealand, Australia and England for that second place. Australia in there with a shout. And trying to extend that chance is John Titman. Titman leads. Mitch Shearer second, England third through Chris Morton. And Schwartz briefly at the back, now bursting through into third, Morton last. Titman's overhauled by Mitch Shearer. And this will give real gloom for England, because it's a 5-point gap between England and New Zealand. That's going to become 8 if it stays this way. Both second and third lifting there, Titman and Schwartz. Schwartz now looking for the gap through into second. This could be a moment to strike back for England if Morton can get past Schwartz. John Titman proving a formidable obstacle in second place. The Aussies not to be ruled out. There are 2 ahead of England, only 3 behind New Zealand. Also driving through on the inside, and this could be very bad for England unless Morton can get third. That he does. Titman relegated to fourth. England notch up a valuable point, but really one is not good enough. Shearer leads, Schwartz second, Redding first and second. Around the final turn, Morton straining for second, but unsuccessful. England get a point, but that surely isn't good enough. Mitch Shearer first. Second for America, Bobby Schwartz. Third for England, Chris Morton. And fourth, John Titman. America and New Zealand extend their lead over England, though. America now have 13 points. New Zealand have 12. England have 5, and Australia have 6. So England... So heat number 7, rapidly approaching the halfway mark, and England still trailing. The lineup for heat number 7 now. Off gate 1 in yellow and black, Peter Collins. Skipper out to perform a captain's role here, surely. Next to him in white, Ivan Major. Off gate 3 in blue, Sean Moran, and the outside man in red, Phil Crump. And Collins left slightly coming out of the tapes, and England's gating really letting them down this afternoon. Major leads. Briefly now Sean Moran in the lead. The usual pattern, America and New Zealand hit the front. And a really spectacular dive through by Phil Crump there, but that doesn't get him anywhere. He's fourth. But really Peter Collins must make up points. He can't rely on a third place. England really can't let America and New Zealand get any further ahead. I think America very much out of England's grasp, for the New Zealand the targets now surely. Major second, Peter Collins third. Well out of range now, Sean Moran. And England can't afford to let more points go adrift as they rapidly approach the halfway mark. Collins looks for the outside line, doesn't find too much grip out there. And really gating, very important this afternoon on a dusty small mead circuit. Final turn, Collins goes for the outside, but gets nowhere at all. First man home in blue, Sean Moran. Second in white, Ivan Major. Third in yellow and black, Peter Collins. And fourth in red, Phil Crump. 3 points there to America, brings their score up now to 16. They have a clear lead of 2 points over New Zealand on 14. England now level with Australia. Interesting, this very, very dodgy situation out of the fire for England. Situation, America 16, New Zealand 14, England and Australia 6. Does not augur very well for England hopes as we reach the halfway mark, heat number 8. The lineup off gate 1 in white, we have David Barge. Next to him for England, Kenny Carter. The Australian off gate 3 is Billy Sanders, and off gate 4 for America, Kelly Moran. The points so far, Billy Sanders has 3, Kelly Moran has 2, David Barge no score, and Kenny Carter 2. England yet to provide a heat winner in 7 heats, and in fact haven't had a second place since heat 2. England having a problem warding off Australia, let alone the 2 leaders. But it's always been an irony in the past that whenever the World Team Final has been held in England, England have crashed out earlier on. This time the final is in Vojens, Denmark, and maybe England might respond. Kenny Carter leads, but coming through on the inside is Kelly Moran. And for the first time this afternoon, the cross of St. George hits the front. Kenny Carter leads. Second, Kelly Moran. Third, David Barge, and it would be a real help for England if Billy Sanders could fight through from 4th place. England only set to pull back 1 point on the Yanks and 2 on New Zealand, but any points are good points in this situation. Kenny Carter comes to the rescue for England. Billy Sanders now also helping England's cause, driving hard underneath David Barge for 3rd place. So an 8-point deficit between England and New Zealand could be brought down to 5 now. Real hope now for England possibly. Kenny Carter leads the way, Kelly Moran 2nd, Billy Sanders 3rd and David Barge 4th. And around the final turn, Kenny Carter gets the first heat win for England. 2nd in blue for America, Kelly Moran. 3rd, Australia through Billy Sanders, a big favour for the English there. And 4th in white, David Barge. So the overall positions now, America have 18, New Zealand have 14, England have 9, and Australia have 7. 5 in it now between England and the 2nd place team. Maybe some hope now. So we reach the halfway mark. Let's take a look at the teams going up from the bottom. Australia have 7. Billy Sanders has 4 points so far. He's the only heat winner. The rest of them have only got 3rd places between them. Phil Crump 1, John Titman 1, Steve Redgeling 1, Rod Hunter yet to be used. So Australia maybe on the slide now. Moving on to England in 3rd place. They're on only 9 points from 8 heats. They have 3 points from Peter Collins, the 2nd and the 3rd. Kenny Carter with 5, more than half of the England total, and really Kenny's points valuable this afternoon. Chris Morton only has 1 point. Simon Wick no score. Dave Jessup, what is unfortunately a characteristic retirement. England 4 points from their first rides each, and then 5 from the second, picking up slightly but not too well, really relying on a fall away by Australia. They had 5 from their first 4 heats and only 2 in the next 4. Moving on to the 2nd place team, New Zealand, models of consistency, 7 points in the first 4 heats and 7 in the next batch of rides. Larry Ross a win in the 2nd, Mitch Shearer a win in the 3rd, Dave Barge no score so far, Alan Mason possibly in line for a call-up into the action. Ivan Major a win in the 2nd, so Ross, Shearer and Major forming the backbone of a New Zealand attack. On to the leading side, the United States, they look very strong. In fact, Bobby Schwartz and Kelly Moran yet to register a heat win, and America leading very, very comfortably. 4-point lead already. Dennis Sigalis unbeaten from 2, and he looks set for an unbeaten run throughout the afternoon. Sean Moran 5, Bobby Schwartz 3, Kelly Moran 4, Lance King not used so far, and it looks unlikely whether Lance will get a ride. Really, United States set for a victory, New Zealand and England to fight out for that 2nd place. 5 points in it at the halfway mark. Well, narrowly surviving a 2-minute exclusion there, Kelly Moran comes into the fray in heat number 9 in blue. He'll be seeking to extend this American lead of 4 points. Kelly 2 seconds so far, and showing that an absence from British League Racing is not really affecting his form. Was down a little in the Test Series, but looking every inch a class performer for the States. The world champions in heat number 9 of today's United Kingdom qualifying round of the World Team Championship. So the full lineup for heat number 9. Off gate 1 in blue, Kelly Moran. Next to him in red, for Australia, Steve Redgeling. Steve with 1 point from 2 starts. Next to him in white, for New Zealand, Mitch Shearer. Mitch, an impressive winner last time. And the outside man in yellow and black for England, Peter Collins. Peter, 3 points so far. Well, the England revival started by Kenny Carter and Peter Collins follow up. A poor gate by Collins off gate 4 at the back. Showing first is Kelly Moran, challenged by the Kiwi Mitch Shearer. That's bad for England. Steve Redgeling shutting out Peter Collins. And Peter really must get the points here, otherwise England's hopes really will be snuffed out, and Peter responds through into 3rd place. Showing blue now, but in yellow. His race jacket confirms. Kelly Moran leads. Mitch Shearer 2nd. So America and New Zealand set to pull back the points gained by England in heat 8. And Peter Collins really straining at the machine, looking for a way past Kelly Moran and Mitch Shearer. New Zealand's such an enigma in World Championship racing. One season Ivan Major's not there, one season Ivan Major is in the team. Sometimes the Kiwis full of National League riders. This year, solid through with British League class riders. And so around the final turn, Kelly Moran gets his first win. 2nd in white, Mitch Shearer. Third for England, Peter Collins, and fourth for Australia, Steve Regeling. So the points split, 3 points to America. They now move on to 21 points, 2 points for New Zealand. They consolidate their second place now with 16 points. England pick up only 1 point, they're on 10, 6 behind New Zealand. Australia scoreless once more, they're on 7. So, heat number 10, England still trail New Zealand by a fairly substantial margin. It'll take at least 2 heats to catch up on that. Kiwi total is 16. And lining up for England off gate 1 in yellow and black, the man all English hopes are pinned on, Kenny Carter. Came up with the goods last time, they'll be hoping for another one in heat 10. Next to him, for the Americans in blue, Sean Moran. Off gate 3 for the Kiwis, Larry Ross, and the outside man for Australia, John Tipman. So America 21, New Zealand 16, England 10, Australia 7. The situation as we go into heat 10. And movement there from all 4 riders, led by Larry Ross. Ross moves again. And this time maybe got the advantage of the start. Sean Moran capitalising with slight movement before the tapes went up, gets the lead. Determination by Kenny Carter in second, trying to find a way through, but now being overhauled by Larry Ross. This could be decisive for England now. If Ross gets past Carter, I think we can say goodbye to the World Team Cup this year. Sean Moran leads, Kenny Carter second, Larry Ross third, John Tipman fourth, and Carter must hold on to at least that second. A win here would really close the gap though. 6 points at the moment, this will reduce it to 5. So a more manageable position if Kenny Carter can get the lead. I'm sure Sean Moran has other thoughts. He leads. Kenny Carter second. Larry Ross third. And the English crowd cheering on John Tipman also in fourth to overtake Larry Ross. But around the final turn, Carter, real determination, raw guts. Can't overtake Sean Moran though. Sean Moran wins for America. Kenny Carter second, Larry Ross third, and John Tipman fourth. England pull a point back on New Zealand, but will it be enough? The scores now, America 3 points there gives them 24. England move on to 12. New Zealand move on to 17, 5 in it. Australia remain on 7. They're now out of contention. Well, coming out for his second ride, he knows the task ahead of him. Simon Wigg. Wigg replaced by Dave Jessup in his second ride. And now coming out to try and remove the scar of that 0 in his first ride. England 5 points behind the Kiwis. They only have 6 heats in which to make up that difference. So all eyes on Simon Wigg. The full lineup for heat number 11 off gate 1 in blue, Bobby Schwartz. Next to him in white for New Zealand, David Barge. Off gate 3 in red as the tapes are broken, Phil Crump. And the outside man in yellow and black, Simon Wigg. America have double the English total, have a very comfortable 7-point lead over New Zealand. So America are almost certain winners of this event now. Australia almost certainly out. New Zealand and England fighting out for that place at Wimbledon in the Intercontinental Final. So the riders back for the start of heat number 11 after a brief delay while the tapes were repaired. The revs mount as the tension mounts, and Simon Wigg leads for England. He makes the gate off that difficult gate 4. Simon Wigg leads. Really coming up with the goods for England. The only heat winner so far, Kenny Carter. Wigg can hang on. This will be a major breakthrough for England, because at the back is David Barge. England 5 points behind New Zealand. They could pull back 3 of them here. Going wide is Phil Crump. Barge, though, shut out. And all English eyes looking on Phil Crump to hold on to third. Bobby Schwartz in second, and Wigg imperious in front. Disappointments in his first ride, but really responding in his second. Simon Wigg, could he be the saviour for England, as he has been for Cradley Heath? Just over 1 lap remaining, Wigg with a very good lead. Well, this may be Wigg's first appearance in an England race jacket in this kind of competition. Looks like it won't be his last. And a real relief around Smallmead. Although Simon Wigg has trouble on the turn, recovers, and Wigg crosses the line to the relief of all the English supporters here. Simon Wigg wins. A real breakthrough for England. Second for America, Bobby Schwartz. Third for Australia, Phil Crump. And fourth, David Barge for New Zealand. Listen to the reaction from the crowd. 3 points to England, brings them up to 15. New Zealand last, they're on 17. 2 points in it now. America move ahead even further on 26. Australia now pick up a point and move on to 8. So only 2 points in it with 5 to go. England now in with a chance. So, fresh hope in the England camp as we enter heat number 12. 2 points between New Zealand and England. Could England come back from the dead? Heat 12 will surely sort that one out because we have the following lineup. Gate 1 vacant at the moment, but the man coming up from the bend in yellow and black for England, hoping to take advantage of that inside gate, Chris Morton. Chris disappointing, only 1 point from 2 so far. He'll be able to improve on that. Look what Simon Wigg did in the last one after a 0. Next to him in blue, Dennis Sigalos. Dennis unbeaten from 2. Off gate 3 in white, we have Ivan Major. Ivan a winner in the second so far. And the outside man in red, Billy Sanders. Billy, the only Australian heat winner, 4 points from 2. So a strong lineup for heat number 12. England will have to really try hard through Chris Morton to hang on to the coattails rather of New Zealand. Only 2 points in it. Tension beginning to mount here at Smallmead as England have new hope. And Morton fails at the gate. Dennis Sigalos leads. Morton now dives hard underneath Major. He must get that second. Major on the outside and Morton taken on both sides by Sanders and Major. This could be disaster. Major now relegates to 4th though by Morton. Doesn't really matter what happens in front so long as Chris Morton can lead Ivan Major. But that he does. And that 3rd place point precious to England. If Morton can get that second from Billy Sanders, that will put England at New Zealand level. I think everybody forgetting about the Americans now. Let them go. They have the lead in this heat. They have the lead in the meeting now. Morton challenging on Sanders. Chris Morton through into second. The cheers rise from the terraces. This will put England level. Just when it seemed like England were dead and buried. 2 zeros from New Zealand and the win in a second could put England really in the driving seat. Now Morton going for first. Looking for Dennis Sigalos. This will put England in the lead around the final turn. Chris Morton can't make it though, but 2 points enough to level the score for second place. Dennis Sigalos wins for America, his 3rd win, puts America on 29. A marvellous ride there by Chris Morton, bringing England and himself back from the dead to give England 17 points. Australia move on to 9, New Zealand a 0 there, remain on 17. So everything to ride for with only 4 heats to go. 17 points to New Zealand and 17 to England. Could England pull off a miracle? So Simon Wigg out to repeat his feat in heat number 11. England now level with New Zealand. It's Wigg against Major in effect in heat number 13. Ivan Major now coming around off the turn. Ivan 2 races in succession. He's had a win, a second and a 0. So Major possibly on the decline in this meeting. Maybe feeling a certain lack of match fitness. Major now joins the full lineup off gate 4, so Wigg possibly has the advantage off that inside gate. Real crunch heat number 13. The final round of rides now. Wigg goes off gate 1 in yellow and black for England. Next to him for America, Kelly Moran. Next to him for Australia, John Titman off gate 3, and the outside man for New Zealand, the aforementioned 6 times world champion Ivan Major. 29 to America, 17 to New Zealand, 17 to England, and 9 to Australia. That's the situation as we went to the final 4 heats. And getting first, Simon Wigg, but being overhauled by Kelly Moran. Wigg, though, has the advantage over Major. Wigg second, Major 4th. Now Wigg bursts through in the first place. He beats Kelly Moran down the straight, and Wigg has 3 points advantage over Ivan Major in heat 13. This could be it. This could be the rescue act for England. New Zealand blowing out at the vital moment. They've had 2 zeros, only a 1 point in the heat before that, and a 0 it looks in heat 13. England really coming back now. Looks like England may well make it. Wigg leads, Kelly Moran second, John Titman third, Ivan Major 4th, and a huge sigh of relief being breathed around this stadium. It doesn't matter really whether Moran catches Wigg. We have the advantage now over New Zealand. Simon Wigg leads. Kelly Moran challenging for that lead. Moran being shut out by Simon Wigg. He's standing no nonsense after being dropped from a previous ride. Goes out in style with 2 wins. Marvellous riding from the debutant. Simon Wigg really carves his name in the England record books by setting up a possible England qualification. Wigg takes the adulation from the crowd. Second man home, Kelly Moran. Third, John Titman. Fourth, Ivan Major. Ivan will be bitterly disappointed there. New Zealand, it seems, now could possibly be going out after giving England such a fright. The situation now, America lead with 31. England now have 20. Australia have 10. And New Zealand have 17. Number 14, England's chance to wrap things up because it's the Australian reserve out in red, Rod Hunter. Next to him, in yellow and black, Chris Morton. Off gate 3 in white, the weak link in the New Zealand team scoreless so far, David Barge. And the outside man, Sean Moran. And Chris Morton in second behind Sean Moran. That's all he needs to really put New Zealand on the rack, and in fact a bonus for England. Rod Hunter leads David Barge. The two, well in fact the present Newcastle Diamond and his former teammate, third and fourth, but the lead now being disputed by Chris Morton. A win here will put England through, almost certainly. And England now really responding to the revival led by Kenny Carter and Simon Wigg. Morton and Sean Moran dice it out for first place. And back in third, a vital third place if Rod Hunter holds on in front of Barge. England now set to really write the record books with a remarkable return from the dead. 1 lap remaining. Chris Morton leads. Second, Sean Moran. Third, Rod Hunter. And fourth, David Barge. Barge now slips through into third. It's not over yet then. Chris Morton comes home for a win. England almost there now. Second in blue, Sean Moran. Third in white, David Barge. And fourth, Rod Hunter. 3 points to England, they're on 23, 2 to USA, they're on 33, 1 point to New Zealand, they're on 18, and Australia last with 10. So 5 points between England and New Zealand with only 2 heats to go, and Kenny Carter and Peter Collins out for England. Well, a real face-saving act there by Chris Morton as he passes and repasses Sean Moran. No quarter given by these two superb top-line performers. So with 2 heats to go now, the New Zealand position summarised. They need 2 wins and England to score no more than 1 point to go in for a runoff for the second qualifying place. New Zealand need 2 wins and England 2 zeros for New Zealand to get that second place outright. So England needing 2 points in the last 2 heats to guarantee qualification for the Intercontinental Final at Wimbledon. The full lineup for heat number 15, gate 1 in white, we have Mitch Shearer. He's got quite a task in his hands to get that win because the other men in the lineup, Phil Crump off gate 2, Kenny Carter off gate 3, and the unbeaten Dennis Sigalos off gate 4. So Sigalos can do England in a way a favour by finishing in the top 2, as long as Kenny Carter finishes in front of Mitch Shearer. There is absolutely nothing the Kiwis can do to stop England qualifying. A really remarkable situation. Back at Heat 7, there was an 8-point gap between New Zealand and England. All seemed lost. Now they stand on the brink of qualification, but Shearer leads, and it's Carter at the back. England looking to Sigalos to take the lead. He does. And now if Carter can get third, this will give qualification for England. He overtakes Phil Crump. Crump's at the back. Carter only needs to hold on to that third place now, but I'm sure he won't settle for that. Shearer's in second. England on the brink of qualification now. Sigalos heading for that maximum. Sigalos first, Shearer second, Carter third, and Crump fourth. Carter looking for the way past Mitch Shearer. Shearer just holding on to second, moving out wide, trying to block Carter's every move, but Shearer must know he's got to pass Sigalos. Now Carter looking to make everything absolutely certain by going past Shearer, but it looks fairly stable in those 3 positions. Crump well out of contention, back in fourth, as have the Australians been all afternoon, and that's the way it finishes. England qualify and America win. Dennis Sigalis first, second Mitch Schurer, third in yellow and black Kenny Carter, fourth Phil Crump. England come back from the dead to get the second qualifying spot. 3 points to America, they're on 36. 2 to New Zealand, they're on 20. 1 to England on 24 now, and Australia finish up, well, 1 heat to go, but they're on 10 points. England make it, 4 points up with only 1 to go, and a really remarkable turnaround. New Zealand only 2 points in the last, well, in fact, only 4 points in the last 5 heats. So, who would have thought England would have qualified with 1 heat to go? That's the situation as we enter heat number 16. Off gate 1 in red, Billy Sanders. Billy 5 points so far. Off gate 2 in yellow and black, Peter Collins. Peter 4 from 3. Off gate 3 in blue, Bobby Schwartz. He has 5. He hasn't had a heat win, the only American yet to win apart from the reserve. And the outside man in white, Larry Ross. He has 6 from 3. Like the rest of his New Zealand compatriots, faded after a bright start. 3, 2, then 1. Well, the Kiwis must be really feeling sick after thinking that they had the whole thing sewn up. Really dropping away in the second half of the meeting. Collins in trouble though, stretching forward over the tapes, trying to get back. And moving at the start, gating first is Billy Sanders. Coming through on the inside, Bobby Schwartz, he'll be looking for that win. On the outside line, Larry Ross, Peter Collins at the back, it doesn't matter. Ross shuts off, tries again that outside line, but the leading man is Billy Sanders. Only 1 heat winner for the Australians, and that man leading this one. Sanders leads from Bobby Schwartz, moving through into third now, Peter Collins, and fourth, Larry Ross. And Schwartz looks like he's going to be denied by Billy Sanders. Schwartz though still tigering away in second place. Collins now moves up in third. 1 lap remaining. Billy Sanders set to increase Australia's total by 3. A meager 10 points so far. Now Sanders coming under pressure from Schwartz on the final turn. All 3 in with a chance here. A tremendous race. And coming through for a win. Marvellous riding there by Peter Collins. Second, Bobby Schwartz. Third, Billy Sanders. And fourth, Larry Ross. 3 for England. They go out in style. 27 points for England. 2 for the United States, 38. 1 for Australia, 11. And New Zealand last in that heat. They finished third overall with 20. A marvellous race by Peter Collins. Well, let's take a look at that marvellous ride by Peter Collins. He goes into the final turn in the third position. He goes for the outside line, straight through the middle of the 2 leading riders and across the line for a superb win to cap a remarkable afternoon for England. So the final score in this United Kingdom qualifying round of the World Team Championship reads as follows. America 38, England 27, New Zealand 20, and Australia 11. England really back from the dead. If ever there was that term was probably used, it's in this case, because they were 8 down at 7 and they looked on the way out. New Zealand then hit a rough patch and England really stormed back to get through by a 7-point margin. Let's go down the individual scores, starting with the 4th place team, Australia. They read as follows. Billy Sanders scored 6, Phil Crump 2, John Titman 2, Steve Regeling 1, and Rod Hunter no score. On to the New Zealanders. They read as follows. Larry Ross 6 points, Mitch Schurer 8, David Barge 1, Ivan Major 5. Ivan will be disappointed there, a win in the second, then tailed off with 2 zeros. Moving on to the very, very relieved England camp. Peter Collins scored 7, Kenny Carter 8, Chris Morton 6, Simon Wigg 6, 2 wins after a 0 and being replaced by Dave Jessup, who retired in his solitary ride. On to the winning side, the USA. Much of the attention really there on England and New Zealand, but America a very, very commanding victory on a circuit very well suited to their style. They'll be full of confidence for the Wimbledon round of the World Team Championship. And of course they are the 1982 winners, the holders of the World Team Championship, the United States scorers. Bobby Schwartz, 7. No win for Bobby, but satisfaction in seeing his team go through as winners. Dennis Sigalis, a very superb 12-point immaculate maximum. Sean Moran, 10 points. Kelly Moran, 9. No weak link in that United States lineup. Lance King, not used. So the United States, very comfortable victors of this round. They'll be very happy with that performance on a track that certainly suits their style. Wimbledon also suited to their style. They go through to the Wimbledon qualifier, the Intercontinental final. England join them as the second place team. They will really have to pick up, though, when they meet the might of Scandinavia at Wimbledon in June. Well, a very rare sight on British speedways these days is Ivan Major, the multi-world champion. Ivan, you must have been disappointed that New Zealand crashed out today after such a good start.
Well, yeah, it was really, I feel bad.